What's up guys, it's Michael here. In this video, we are going to cover what is going on with the US economy. So in the next federal meeting coming up for next month, they're debating whether or not they're going to raise 0.25 basis points. So another basically a quarter of a percent. So first, you gotta know that they raised it in the previous month, which is another quarter basis points. And everyone thought, oh my god, it's gotta be over. So the economy shot up. But now you got two sides of a coin. You got one people says it's gonna be a soft landing. The Fed is doing what they're supposed to do, and you got another group that is saying that this is not the end of it because right now they're having trouble controlling core PCIe. So right now the inflation is still going the right direction, but it's not going for every category. For example, wage inflation, like goods and services, yes, they're coming down at a rate that's steadily declining, but it's not for every sector. Because when we talk about inflation, there are different sectors. As I mentioned in previous videos, they're looking for the core inflation, which is mainly looking at food prices, house and commodities, and you look at everyday expenditures. For example, gasoline will be another. That'll be the most obvious one because a lot of people look at their electricity bill, they look at their gasoline bill, they look at their housing prices, and they look at basically how much it costs for their interest rates. That is like the main ones that affect people the most because they take a look of those scenarios and they see it every day. So a perfect example of this is if you look at mainstream media. Mainstream media likes to cover topics that are really basically hot, on fire, meaning a lot of people are talking about it. And once it's not really important anymore, or basically saying is people don't really care about it as much anymore, then it becomes forgotten. So this plays the same role as in when looking at the US economy. The US economy to talk about really specific categories, but the Fed always brings back up that these are the core inflation they're looking at. And a lot of people and a lot of speculations going on and how's it gonna go, that is for you to decide on yourself. For example, comment down below and hit the subscribe button. So right now, the main factor that people are speculating is the wage inflation. The wage inflation right now is still currently pretty stagnant, meaning you have employers versus employees, and employers they don't have as much powers as employees. But in the same time, now it's starting to flip again. Now is if you're working at like your food or business service industry, maybe some restaurants, depending where you live, because there's a lot of factors in there saying that, oh look, employees now don't have as much leverage as compared to before, which based on data given throughout for many other types of census, it could be true, it might not be true. It depends on where you live. And at the same time, is for example, if you work at let's say hospitality, or maybe you work at somewhere like a hospital. At a hospital, maybe you can push a few more buttons, and you won't get fired because they need people within your pay grade or within your class. So you can still push around in there. But like working at fast food restaurants, that really depends where you are. Like here in California, depends on the city. Some cities need more workers, some cities don't. If they can't, you look at, for example, prices of goods you're trying to get. For example, boba milk tea might cost way more compared to before. Maybe the hours of the shops are changing. Now that really plays in part of inflation, where how they get their products in, whether or not where the economy is gonna go tumbling down. Because right now, we understand that, and the information giving out from like Jerome Powell said there is still another 0.25 basis points, meaning they're within 2023. And starting from today of the posting of this video until the end of December, they're going to raise interest rates one more time. And after that, they're going to slowly decrease. Whether or not how the economy reacts to that and how would they continue to work on that is based on what the Secretary of State will do, and especially the one who does all the printing of the money. So the treasurer in the United States, they have the most power. So whatever they dictate, meaning raising interest rates or lowering interest rates, they control the economy. And some say, and I mentioned in a previous video, is they're more powerful than the president. In that argument, it makes a lot of sense because they control how goods go in and out and whether or not the economy goes up or goes down. So whether or not, and there's a lot of people speculating that within these next few years, a lot of money is going to be made during the recession. And I completely agree with that because a lot of people say soft landing or maybe they're going to have like a hard crash. At the end, the economy is still going through a recession. And right now, this is the time, just like 2008, this is the period for you to make the most amount of money in. So make sure you guys are subscribed and keep in mind that within these next few months, and especially starting over next year, pay attention how do prices go up and down. And if you start investing and looking into other goods and commodities, goods and services, maybe look into your own businesses, maybe start thinking about starting up a business, this is gonna be the time for you to pull the trigger. And also, if you're working a job right now, maybe it's the time for you to increase your pay raise before, as they mentioned before employers have more power than employees. So this is the time for you to, and depending on what situation you are, if you're an employee, time for you to get that pay raise as high as possible before the economy, the tables will turn. And at the same time, if you're think about retiring, this is the time to keep in track of the markets, how they're doing, because the recession is still not over yet. Government within this year still have to raise interest rates one more time. And in theory, what they said, they're going to lower interest rates afterwards, after 2023 until 2024. And during that time, a lot of people from the real estate department saying that the whole entire market for commercial real estate is going to collapse. For example, Manny Koshman say within the next year to 2 years, the commercial real estate sector will collapse, which in his field, it makes a lot of sense. He has over 30 years experience and he deals with commercial real estate a lot. And if you put the pieces together, it makes a lot of sense. A lot of people are working at home. A lot of businesses now are hybridizing, so they still want you to come back to the office, but not as much as often. So why rent a place that costs like $20,000 a month? For example, you rent a high rises in one of your major cities. Why pay that much money to rent that office space when you can rent a smaller section, or actually places where they call it virtual office spaces or rentable office spaces, meaning is they rent a room for that day and you pay a lot less money than coming back in and renting it and using it every day. So I think the market is shifting and commercial real estate will take one of the biggest hits ever, which is going to be really interesting. And he mentioned a lot of money is to be made. Businesses are going to go out of business and new ones are going to rise. So those are the opportunities. And right now, looking at other YouTubers and looking at myself, looking as a third person view, I believe that this is the time where starting from 2020, because 2020 accelerated this process until now, 2023, maybe 2024, 2025, this is the time going to be a lot of new businesses, a lot of new millionaires are going to be created. So I decided to launch a new website, which is currently under progress, and I'm going to help out for people who are starting a new business. And also, I will create a guide because my specialty is helping people opening up new businesses and also work on their financing and accounting. So this is not out yet. If you guys want to pay more close attention or you're currently interested, make sure you click the subscribe button down below and a like button. So when the website launches, I'll offer discounts for anyone who wants to subscribe. So keep in mind, right now is in August and I'm posting this video. Within the next few months, you look at September, October, November, December. Within these 4 months, interest rates are going to go up one more time. And Jerome Powell said they're going to decrease afterwards. They're going to pause for the rest of those within those 3 months and raise 1 month. They're going to pause in just 3 months and until 2024. That's when he was going to start dropping steadily until 2025. So that time, I believe the market is starting to rebound. And it's going to be really interesting because if you're watching this video and you're within my age, you understand that back in 2008, that time, a lot of people, a lot of millennials didn't have a chance to be in the workforce to make money. And they only get to see from their own eyes when they're younger. And you see their parents, either they took advantage of that opportunity or did not take advantage of that opportunity. And now there's a chance for this current generation to take advantage of this opportunity. And seeing a lot of other YouTubers and other financial analysts mentioned that about almost every 10 years, the economy takes a tumble for the greater or the worse. And it's really interesting because each time this happens, a lot of money is to be made. So in recessions, people who take advantage of the economy, for example, investing, building businesses, even you're working as an employee, maybe it's a time for you to make a change in yourself. So keep in mind that when you make these changes, you're building a better future for yourself. So taking risks is part of business. So that's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoy your day. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.